as I love to do, I'm going to use the whiteboard. Okay. So, editing. What is editing? What is editing?
Or means deleting photos.
Deleting pictures. What else?
Yeah.
Choosing.
Organizing.
Pictures.
Choosing.
Making them look better.
Making them look better. Okay, so you guys are all essentially right. The thing that's actually very tricky to know is, as an editor, editing is the art of choosing your best pictures. If you want to be very specific, editing is not post-processing your pictures. So post-processing your pictures is adding contrast, cropping, adding a filter, and stuff like that. Editing is probably one of the most difficult things in this art. It's essentially the art of choosing your best pictures.
Oh, yes.
How do you guys know your best pictures between your good pictures and your bad pictures? How do you guys, and this is an open-ended question to you guys, how do you select your pictures?
I think it's a gut feeling. I don't know.
A gut feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an emotional reaction. And you know, I do sort of two levels. One is immediate, where I kind of delete the things that are really bad, out of focus or just nothing. And then I'll go through and sort of rate them. I would just put a 1 on the ones that I want to take further look at. And then I usually let it settle for a day or two, because I want to detach myself from the experience itself.
So letting your photos sit and marinate and
No,
emotionally
I
just
sit
sit.
and marinate.
Ah, okay.
The
Or
photos
just
are the same.
Yeah. Or letting yourself marinate.
Yeah.
Because often, this happens to me a lot, the memory of making a photo clouds my judgment whether the picture is good or not.
Yes.
So for example, it's a cold, wet, snowy day in New York City, and then this little girl who jumps over a puddle with a red umbrella. I'm like, this is the best picture I ever shot. And then you rush home, and you like add a filter, you process it, you upload it online. You're like, all right, time to get 100 likes. And then you get like 10. You're like, the hell? Like, this is the. Are people idiots? Don't they know real art when they see it? And then a week or two later, you look at it, you're like,
Oh, that sucks.
this picture is not as good as I remembered it. So maybe it was like the coldness, the wetness, and just like how difficult it was to make a picture. Because sometimes my best pictures are actually very easy to shoot, and there's other pictures which are really hard to shoot that actually aren't good pictures. So don't let the difficulty of taking the picture cloud your judgment whether the picture is good or not. Or sometimes, like, like I'll photograph, like, let's say a black Jamaican dude who's like, oh, I used to work on Wall Street as a banker, and then now I'm homeless, and then, now I'm a hedge fund manager, and then I'm homeless, and then you get caught up in their story, and you're taking portraits of them, and you look at the picture you shot of them, and you think it's a great picture because you know his backstory.
Yeah.
But if you show that picture to somebody else, they're not going to know any of this backstory. So you kind of have to be objective with your picture and let it stand on its own 2 feet without having to explain the picture. I think that's a sign of whether the picture is good or not. So,
and also let the others judge the picture before. I think that's very interesting that other people is allowed to tell you what they think about that picture, because you are always kind of attached to the picture, aren't you? So if other people, like, as you said, they don't have the back of the story, they can judge it freely, or more objectively, how do you say that?
More objectively, and that's why I'm so fortunate that Cindy is my best editor. She's the old, and then there's a phrase I like to use, it's called killing your babies, is every time you make a picture, it's like making a child.
Right.
And raise your hand if you've ever seen someone else's kid upload on Facebook or Instagram. In a parent's eyes, aren't your children the most beautiful, precious, unique things in the world? Or also raise your hand if you ever built IKEA furniture. Every time I build IKEA furniture, my friends come over, I'm like, I built that. I have so much pride in the IKEA furniture that I built, But then my friend's like, dude, it's not a big deal, it's just IKEA furniture. I'm like, but do you see how precisely I...
It's cute.
There's a bias in photography and art and life where just because we make it ourselves, we think it's better than it actually is. So we made our children, therefore it's the best child in the world. We built our IKEA furniture, therefore it's the best furniture in the world. We've made our pictures, and therefore the pictures are objectively good because we made them. So once again, distancing yourself from the pictures is one of the most difficult things. When I'm judging my own pictures and I'm deciding how to edit and choose my own pictures, these are the three things that I like to do. And it doesn't always have to follow this. The three things I like to follow is, number one, composition. Okay. Second is emotion. And number three is, this is the hard one, soul. Ooh, okay. I don't think anyone's ever used the term soul in the context of photography. So composition is pretty obvious, right? So how do you know if a composition is good or not?
Well, I think a well-composed picture directs your eye to the point of the picture, to what you want people to look at.
Yeah, so exactly. So when you think of a
So
composition,
it's the structure. I mean, the composition is the structure.
yeah.
But
So
it's the structure that should direct you to the point of the picture, what the picture is about.
yeah, definitely. So if you imagine this is your viewfinder, I always like to think in terms of diagonals. So I just like to draw like a diagonal grid. And however you direct your subject's eye in the viewfinder and tell them what to look at, that's the purpose of composition. You're telling the viewer, hey guys, look at this. This is what I want you to look at. Emotion is, if you look at the picture, do you feel something? There's a lot of pictures which have strong composition that don't have emotion. So what are some examples of emotions we're trying to make in our pictures?
Happiness, sadness, excitement.
Happiness, sadness, excitement, what else?
Humor?
Humor,
Sympathy.
sympathy,
Exhaustion.
exhaustion, irony,
Anger?
anger. So let me ask you guys another question. Why is it important to have emotion in the picture?
Be involved and care.
To be involved, to care. Humans, we're not rational beings, we're emotional beings. If something's emotional, you're going to remember it. What you're trying to do as a photographer is you're trying to make a picture that makes people stop, look, observe, digest, and change the way they think or see the world. So a photo that doesn't have emotion is essentially dead to me. The last thing is soul. I'm trying to think of a clever symbol for soul. What's a good icon for soul? What does soul look like?
John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and Blues Brothers.
I'm going to do an Illuminati symbol, a triangle with an eye. So soul is, do you see your own self or your own soul in your own picture? Are you the only one who could have made that picture? And what is it about you that shows in the picture? Because the best compliment someone could ever tell you in photography is that I could see who you are as a person. I could see your soul in your pictures. You're gonna die one day. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But your soul, your legacy, your stories will live on either through your pictures, your children, the information you create. And so if your pictures don't have your own soul in it, like kind of why make that? And this is my philosophical idea, is that we're all trying to seek legacy or immortality or we're trying to communicate something that will help future generations of humanity through our pictures. And therefore, this Illuminati symbol is starting to creep me out a little bit. To have all three of these things in a picture, it almost never happens. I would actually say that in my entire history of photography, I might have only made 2 or 3 pictures which have all three of these things. But I think the higher we set our standards in our bar, the higher we're going to achieve. Like one picture that I think has all three of these is, I have a photo I shot here in New York, the laughing lady picture. You guys might have seen it, a lady laughing like, ha 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 ha, right? I think it has good composition, nice leading lines, good emotion and soul, because what I'm trying to show through my pictures is that even though I'm kind of a cynic and social critic, ultimately I'm an optimist. So it's a happy photo which brings life and optimism into the world. And a lot of the pictures I've shot of Cindy in the Cindy Project, I think shows composition, emotion, and soul. And generally when I'm looking through my pictures, practical tips that I have is it's good to look at your pictures as small thumbnails. So often what I like to do in my iPad or Lightroom or whatever is do not look at your pictures full screen one by one, because the details in the picture will kind of distract you. I think to tell whether your picture's composition or emotion is good is if the picture as a small thumbnail jumps out at you and punches you in the gut, that's a good picture. So even one thing I've been doing on my camera, I'll look through the thumbnails on the back of my LCD screen on my camera, and then based on whether the thumbnail on the back of the camera looks good, I'll transfer those pictures to my iPad. So if you're looking at your pictures in Lightroom, the hotkey for gallery is G or grid. And if you want to turn off the lights in Lightroom, the hotkey L is turn off the lights. So just scroll through your pictures quickly as small thumbnails. Don't look through each picture individually. Like, I've had the stress that I had to look through 2,000 pictures one by one. It took bloody forever, and it was a waste of my time, to be frank. Now what I could do is I look through all the pictures as small thumbnails, and I just kind of quickly scroll through them, and I'll be like, okay, that one pops out at me, pick that one. Oh, that one pops out at me, pick that one. And then I might have shot for, let's say, the last 2 days that I shot, I only essentially maybe picked, 5 or 6 pictures that I liked, and then I transferred those to my iPad, and then even on the iPad I culled it down another time. So I'm essentially down to only like 2 or 3 pictures I like from the last 2 days. And out of those 3 pictures, I know my one best shot of like the advertising man smoking the cigarette. So this is like a Zen approach to photography. Your best function on your camera is the delete button. More important than the shutter button is the delete button. What I've been doing, because I've tried to archive and back up all my pictures, but if you're shooting 1,000 pictures a week, there's no way in hell you're ever going to look back 10 years from now and look back at 100,000 pictures. So what I do is, after every week or month, or sometimes even a day, I'll quickly go through my pictures, transfer my best favorite 3 pictures, and I'll just format my card. And it's scary as hell, because you're like, what if I have a golden gem? If the picture didn't pop out, punch you in the gut, and if it wasn't obvious that was a really, really good picture, it's not a good picture. And also for me, the zen of formatting your cards or deleting all your old pictures is that it frees you, it unburdens you. It allows you to think about the next picture you're going to shoot rather than the pictures from the past. So trust me, like, I had an SD card of like 3,000-4,000 pictures that I shot in Vietnam the last year. I did a quick edit, chose my best 100 pictures, transferred those to my laptop, and then my SD card, I was like, format, Oh, can't do it, can't do it. Go to the bathroom. Wash my face. Cindy, you want to have dinner? We have dinner. Format. And then, you know, the status bar is like, you know, formatting, right? It's like formatting, formatting, and then.
Huge size.
So you select them on your camera, you know?
Yeah,
look
so-
at them on Lightroom.
And you could tell, you know.
Yeah, you could tell on the back of your camera.
So,
Like,
technical question,
Yeah.
I don't do that because I read somewhere that you can lose, the camera can lose track of where the images are if you're deleting in the middle of a, of a set. So I just wonder, if that's okay, then I think, I like
yeah,
your
no,
idea
it's
a lot.
fine. Like maybe 10 years ago that was an issue, but no,
And,
now.
okay, so
And-
there's
yeah.
no problem in
Yeah,
sort of
don't
finding
worry
it
about it.
anymore. Okay,
I mean,
that's
a lot
good.
of a pro tip. I learned this from my friend Neil Taub. He shoots RAW on his Fujifilm camera, and then he'll go through his camera, through his LCD screen, and then he'll actually process the RAW file on the back of his LCD screen, save them as JPEGs, and then transfer those via Wi-Fi to his phone, and then just upload those to social media or Dropbox or Google Drive, whatever. Because we're all busy. Anything that can simplify or speed up your workflow process is good. And one thing I discovered is your camera, your pictures load faster looking at them on your LCD screen than on Lightroom or your laptop. Yeah. Because the reason why is the camera, the processing algorithm in the engine is optimized to be used on the LCD screen of your camera, not for the SD card to be put into Lightroom. So that's why Lightroom is quite slow, is that, I mean, it has a hard drive, it's trying to process all the different pictures from all the different, like, 30 camera manufacturers, right? So to use JPEGs on the back of your camera, often the colors shot JPEG in your camera look better than any pictures you could process on the computer. So I would actually, I'm like, even on my Pentax, I shot all the pictures in small JPEG, and I just keep the JPEG images now. I don't even really shoot RAW anymore. The pictures are getting too big, they take too long to shoot, so just simplify it. And that's
you
why
just shoot JPEGs?
I just shoot JPEG now. And you'll never hear any other pro photographer saying that. But yeah, especially the Fujifilms, the colors that come out of the camera look fantastic.
But it seems like, Eric, it would take a lot longer to delete them in the back of the camera. I mean, if you if you bring them in, it seems like you can delete them.
Oh, so my practical tip is go through your camera pictures on the back of your LCD screen. Pick the few pictures you like let's say you like 10 pictures out of the last week you shot, transfer those to your phone or whatever, and then just format your SD card.
I see. Okay. Gotcha.
You transfer wirelessly to your iPad? Or
I have a little dongle that attaches to the bottom of my iPad. If your camera
So you
has
take
the
the card
Wi-
out.
yeah. So I like to use the dongle because it's a little bit faster. But if your camera, every camera is a little bit different. If your camera has the Wi-Fi function, I'd recommend using that instead.
Because if you put the card in, how do you just transfer it?
Yeah, so that's the thing is if you plug in the card with a dongle to the iPad, it transfers all your pictures. So it just, once again, it wastes more time. So essentially I'm just about trying to save time. And once again, like, trust me, deleting your SD cards and formatting it, it's like really scary. And trust me, it almost feels like you're dying. I can't describe it like,
It is, it's true.
because this is my philosophical idea. Every time you make a picture, you're making a memory. By deleting your memories, you think you're deleting yourself. Interesting idea, right? This is my theory. So, but remember, guys, you are not your pictures, and my theory is you're not your memories either, because your false memories you have of yourself as a 2-year-old, which are actually probably not real, that's not who you are. We are the moment, the Zen, whatever. We'll talk philosophy later. But anyways, keep it simple. You guys all know the acronym KISS?
Yep.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep. KISS. Keep it simple,
Samurai.
samurai. Or keep it simple, stupid. I'm very stupid, so I like to keep it simple. Right? So what we'll do now is